Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Voyager, Season 3, Episode 4, The Swarm. So I kind of love and hate this episode at the same time. I think, the B storyline, I guess it'd be the B storyline, is more interested than the A storyline. I'm just going to say it's almost 50-50. I'm going to say it's the A storyline because it's the title of The Swarm, where the ship encounters this giant swarm of alien ships who, at the very beginning, they find this alien who's dying, and he's like, we tried to go through this region of space, and the swarm got on us and sucked out all of our energy and killed all of our crew. And for the most part, this episode is kind of about Voyager trying to go through that space, because why would we listen to this guy? And sure enough, being attacked by the swarm and trying to get out of it. Overall, I thought that storyline was kind of blah at the very most. I was super intrigued by the second part of the story. So to start over again, from the very beginning, we see Paris and B'Elanna on a shuttlecraft, and they're just basically talking about dating and who he likes and who she likes. And I feel like this instance was some major foreshadow about the two of them getting together. I feel like you could, if you had to pinpoint where the writers were like, let's do it, it was this one, maybe even a little bit earlier, because we don't see it for kind of a while. And then we see the Doctor singing in the holodeck, which Robert Picardo is a very accomplished singer ever since he was in college. So that was kind of cool to see him doing those La Boheme ballads. It was really well done. I liked just overall, so this episode is kind of about the Doctor, and his circuits are breaking down, and he starts losing memory, and there's a great scene where he knows that he's losing his memory, and he's supposed to do surgery on Paris, and he just starts making stuff up, and he's like, okay, Kes, pop quiz, which kind of shows how he's developing as a character, that he knows he can't remember, and he basically lies and is like, okay, you do this because I want to see how accomplished you are. Kes is basically the major factor on who wants to save the Doctor, because everybody else is distracted by the swarm. And so what they do is they go to the diagnostics program, which is basically the help, the FAQ type of the program. And Zimmerman, a holographic representation of Zimmerman, shows up, which is super interesting because he's played by Robert Picardo, again, the guy that plays the Doctor, which we saw a picture of him earlier, but he's in yellow and he just has a very negative attitude. He's not a likable character. And at this point, I think it's the next season, the next year, Zimmerman himself makes an appearance on Deep Space Nine, played by Picardo. So I think that was super interesting that we see the holographic representation of him, and then we'll actually meet the real person in Deep Space Nine. And basically, Zimmerman's the only way to fix him is to erase the 2 years. He's only supposed to work 5,000 hours, or he gives some number, maximum, and you've been running him non-stop for 2 years. No wonder his memory circuits are full and they're breaking down. So you have one of two options. You can either erase everything and start over again, or you can just lose your Doctor altogether. And Kes is neither one of those are a good option. And so to kind of watch Zimmerman, and it's the Jupiter station and stuff like that, basically try to find out a way to fix everything. And Kes comes up with the idea of, why don't we take Zimmerman's matrix and the Doctor's matrix and combine them, and it'll give him even more memory. And Zimmerman's if you do that, you're not gonna have a diagnostics for the Doctor to do anything with. And Kes is well, if we don't do it, we're going to lose our Doctor. And Zimmerman's oh, well, that's kind of a good point. And so they end up doing it. And so they go through this process, and the Doctor finally pops back up, and he's hello, who are you? And it's this really sad moment where you're we did lose the last 2 years of memories. All of these, building up of the Doctor, all of these memories, all of these, personality traits. But then at the last minute, he does start singing the songs from La Boheme again. And it's maybe it's just going really slow. Overall, it's a touching episode, and I really liked it because I feel the Doctor is kind of an underappreciated character at this point. And so to kind of watch him build, I thought was a great development. For those who have seen this one, what did you think about Zimmerman? What did you think about the Swarm storyline? And what did you think about the 2 years of memories being wiped, but potentially coming back? And again, like I've said over and over again, this is not Deep Space Nine. We're going to end exactly where we started. So in the very next episode, the Doctor has all of his memories back, so it doesn't really matter. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. And I will see you guys next time for False Prophets.